What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Dave B, and you're watching another episode of the Esoteric Hustler Academy and shit like that, where we break down all the realest, when it comes to, just using your esoteric superpowers to, help you just sustain yourself, like, because it's not so much about, turning this into something where we're trying to use spirituality for money, but it's just utilizing your energies in the best way so that you can manifest more situations that go in your favor and manifest more prosperous situations as far as regarding business and what you got going on. So this goes beyond just trying to make money. This is just how you go about telling your story, because that's honestly, I feel like that's what, like, the true artists and shit like that, I feel like that's what we're all trying to do. We down here creating the best version of ourselves, so that happens on the internal level where, the spiritual work that you do all goes towards that, the experiences that you learn from and the experiences that expand your awareness of things, and you learn, you grow, you connect with different people and they take you on different journeys and shit like that. All of that contributes to the greater point of life, which is, really, taking this shit, taking yourself and your spirit, like taking your spirit to the next level type shit, where you came down here to go through certain experiences, you set certain things up for yourself, and now you're playing that out, for better or for, I ain't even gonna say for worse, some people play it for worse, but this is a spiritual channel, this is about spiritual empowerment, and we the subconscious community and shit like that, so, it's always for the better for us, just because that's how we overstand the fact that we are the creator, and so we create the circumstances we want to see, so yeah, for better. So let's jump into the topic of today's video. We're going to be talking about the importance of artist development, or why it's important. And so for those, so artist development, what is that? So this is really what I specialize in, just in the fact that my channels and what I do here, like I said, it's all about spiritual empowerment, and art and spirituality go hand in hand, really, because spirituality, oh my gosh, look, can y'all see that? Hey bunny, you chilling, yo, you chilling, so group shit. Hell yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I see him a few times. Usually, like, it's crazy, like when I used to come out here, he used to dip out, like as soon as I step around, dip out. But he done see me a few times. I done came here a few different occasions and shit. Like, now he mad comfortable and shit. So he like, I just eat and chill out. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool shit. But, getting back to what I was saying. So when it comes to this artist development shit, it's important because really, yeah, like I was saying, everything I do is out of, in the name or in the nature of artist development. So when it comes to artist development and things of that nature, it's really a lost art. Like, basically, when we look at the industry and a lot of people in the industry and like how they get down with things and shit like that, and why it just seems like, we know how the mainstream story goes, artists all of a sudden, starts making a lot of money, starts shaking a lot of hands, and then before you know it, they become an industry tool, a tool to play out certain virtues and principles that shadow government and things of that nature, just people in positions of power want to play out, aka they become basically caricatures of a real person, caricatures of different themes, where they turn them into tarot cards, basically, where now this person's face represents a certain story, or it represents an outcome that can basically put everybody's mind frame who once looked up at this artist to, like, basically put them in a certain mind state where they don't want to repeat what they do, or it's like, it's kind of confusing, right? Well, it's not confusing. It's actually very simple, but it's like they use them as a puppet, and they turn their story into an allegory. They turn, just like how the Bible is, where it's like, now, like, I'll use an example for somebody. Let me think of a good example. For some reason, I keep wanting to say Tory Lanez. So we're gonna use Tory Lanez, for instance. That whole incident happened with him shooting homegirl in the foot and shit like that. It's like, now the image of him is always gonna be about that. Like his whole career is condensed into that one storyline, right? Now, of course, like, let's be realistic. I know that every single thing that happens isn't a result of these people, like, you know what I'm saying, but setting them up specifically, but it's kind of just the nature of how this shit works with the Magic Square, where because society is the way it is, a lot of things down here are just inverted, in the sense of every time that people play out what they think is the societal norm, oftentimes goes against what the spirit is truly supposed to be doing. So because everything is inverted, it creates scenarios in which people have no choice but to trip on themselves. And especially if you're making a certain amount of money, because then you get placed in certain circumstances where it almost becomes inevitable, especially if you're not tapped in, if you're not really in touch with your own spirituality on a core level. Because a lot of times people will be spiritual, but they not really spiritual. They more like religious, or following some kind of doctrine that was set up from the people putting these circumstances out. So naturally, if you following the doctrine, a religious doctrine, like all religions, you know what I'm saying, they're created, they were created, they were man-made and put out to create basically different categories for you to put yourself in. So naturally, you think you're telling, you know what I'm saying, you think you're following whatever religion, and you will assign that to your spiritual moral system. Like, oh, because I'm Christian, I do X, Y, and Z. Because I'm Hindu, I do X, Y, and Z. Because I'm this, that, and the third, I do X, Y, and Z. And you attach different virtues and principles that was, like I was just saying, you attach certain virtues and principles to yourself, thinking that this is the right thing to do. You create a right and wrong for yourself, and that right and wrong, you know what I'm saying, condenses into your lifestyle. This is like the ninth house principles. And so when you adopt this as your lifestyle and shit like that, it starts to play out in ways in which, like I said, because it was man-made, and the whole essence of spirituality is individuality. So it's about, you know, you have to find your own spiritual sense of things, right? But because you're using someone else's doctrine that someone else created, a man created, you're thinking that this is law, and then you creating these imaginations about these deities that you give all your power to, aka you start to believe that you're not the creator, you're the creation of whatever imagination was, you know what I'm saying, whatever imagination you're praying to, right? Instead of giving power to your own imagination and doing things in the way you're supposed to be doing as an individual, as a spirit in a body who's its own creator of its reality. So it creates a scenario where you end up blaming everything outside of you for things that you have all the power and control over, but you then gave all the power and control over something that might not even fuck with you at the end of the day. And we see results of that, of people who live their whole life following some kind of religion, and that religion, everything that religion requires upon them, basically destroys who they are, or diminishes their experience down on this earth, where they can't even experience certain things, or they feel guilty for experiencing certain things that we all have the right to experience, or we're supposed to experience, that our spirit came down here to experience. So it creates a scenario where you end up living your whole life, and you get to the end of it, and it's like you got so many regrets. You wonder why you want, you know, and those regrets build upon your subconscious to where all that's on your mind when you die is shit of this world, the things you didn't do, the things you didn't accomplish, and that brings you right back here. And thus we have reincarnation, instead of, like I was saying before, taking your power back and having spiritual sense, where your spirituality is built upon what you are here for. You know what I'm saying? It's built on what you are here for, and your essence, and what your true path is. When that happens, you can create an imagination that basically is like a key to get you out of this world, where you can now experience anywhere you want. You know what I'm saying? A world you built, or any other, you know, dimension. Like, you know what I'm saying? It becomes expansive because your imagination is now unlocked. It's like, that's why, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the planets and shit like that, when we go up to Saturn represents reality and things of that nature. Now, Saturn is what a lot of these government figures utilize to create control, to initiate control. Initiate just being that Capricorn energy, that cardinal energy, but initiate control, or initiate a sense of what is real and what's not. But see, now if you are building a mind, if you built a mind for yourself, or basically it's like borrowing a mind. See, building a mind for yourself is like tapping into your own spiritual essence, while the other one, a mind being built for you, is basically you borrowing the Mason mind or the shadow government mind, or the mind that the shadow government created for you, because they don't think like, they think like the first one I was talking about, where they created their own mind. They just giving you a mind in order to control you. You know what I'm saying? So basically you end up borrowing a mind, and the only thing you can think of is imaginations of this world. This is why everything that a person who created that shit, everything they create is stale. And like, but what happens is it gets tricky, because it's like, you know what I'm saying, everything that they create is stale. Now, not everybody can see the staleness. So a lot of people will champion the shit that comes out of the Mason mind, because they think it's the right thing to do based upon this world and us just being in a reality where certain things are praised. That's what we have as the creation of or the representation of the mainstream, aka, now if you're a real artist, you know the mainstream shit be the weakest shit. It be the shit from the underground artists who built their own mind that we actually is like, oh shit, no, this is the shit. Hence why the whole soul group takeover and what that's all about, because it's like we real artists out here, you know what I'm saying? So this is getting into the heart of this artist development shit, where, you know what I'm saying, because you ever been in a room with a bunch of people who say they're creative and they throw out creative ideas, but everything sound like something regurgitated. This is why I feel like everything in the public that we see, a lot of movies and shit like that, a lot of them are like sequels and adaptations of books and shit that was already written, but we don't see enough of that new shit. We don't see enough innovative shit, enough real original shit. And that's because, like I said, the system is created in a sense where they want people to think in a certain way. So certain creations from different artists and shit like that, they're going to get cut short. They're going to get snuffed out, because it's all about reinforcing the Mason mind, or reinforcing the mainstream shit. And the mainstream shit is like kind of in that video I was talking about on my main channel, Day Beyond TV, where I talk about what is television, and what it is just let them giving you a manual for how they want you to move and operate in this world. And that plays out in the good things and the bad things, because the bad things get all the attention. See, spirits love train wrecks. Spirits love to be on a kind of roller coaster ride. They love the thrill of it, you know what I'm saying, because it represents that world, the chaos, you know what I'm saying, the internal world, the yin. It represents that feeling, and that newness is what the spirit really thrives on. You know what I'm saying? When we're going through a new spirit, we know we're truly expanding. You know what I'm saying? When we get settled into something and we condense ourselves, this is kind of like playing out attributes of being more so in our Lucifer energies, or, you know what I'm saying, wanting to maintain something. But both are important, you know what I'm saying? Don't get lost in the rhetoric, because, you know, God and Lucifer is the same thing, and it's all about balance, and God and Lucifer is all within us as individuals. But, you know what I'm saying, just to kind of stay on point and shit like that, it's like, you know, so you know what I'm saying, that spirits love train wrecks. So what happens is what they do though, like I said before, it's inverted. They create a lot of dramatic ass, like toxic ass films or shows, like, you know what I'm saying, y'all know, like all them reality TV shows, Love and Hip Hop, shit like that, to get people basically distracted, but get their mind on virtues and principles that they want them to kind of go back and forth with. And then these create these kind of redundant loops of mentalities, which create basically mental blockages, or mental I'll call them like mental like mental handicaps, basically, where people think, oh, this is the way to go about a relationship. I need to be a player type of person. I need to have multiple women or multiple dudes on my line. I need to treat men like this because men ain't shit, or I need to treat women like this because women ain't shit. And these are just reinforced topics that they're throwing at you, basically to get, like, basically just inviting you to the circus, you know what I'm saying, but distracting you. So you end up wasting your whole life thinking like this is real life, this is reality, like, if that makes sense, you know what I'm saying. And it just kind of gets you on this toxic train, and all you do is grow up to regurgitate a lot of these themes and shit like that. But see, like I said, they utilize everything. So they give you bad examples and inverted examples to keep you in a emotional state where you're unable to truly experience anything real. You feel me? Where it's like now everything becomes a caricature, like everything becomes a game. You know what I'm saying? Everything becomes like a what the fuck, or, you know what I'm saying? AKA you hear all the time of people who spend their whole life just chasing relationships or just doing things that, like, you're like, what is the point of that? Like, you're not actually growing as an individual, as a spirit. You're not even doing the things that you truly want to do. You don't even believe in yourself. You just busy trying to be like these celebrities that we see, aka the puppets. And that's where the celebrities come in, because they represent what we strive to be, aka stars. We want to be da 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 da. We want to be Drake. We want to be Wayne. We want to be these da 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 da. Except for being yourself. And see, all Drake and what, like, not to say that these individuals specifically are like this, but a lot of these artists, mainstream artists, are nothing more than less than being basically used as a vessel for the record label companies, who are basically the reason they making so much money is because they're playing out a character. That's not really who they are. And even if it is who they are, like, you can tell who's real and who's not. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about the individuals I'm throwing out. I'm just using these as an example, a very loose example, but this is how it all trickles down. So I say all that to say artist development is important, because basically it gives you the foundation to not, so when you do get in situations where your shit starts to catch traction, you know how to move efficiently. And even before you start to gain traction, you know how to create the proper starting point. And the proper starting point is important, because this becomes your spirit's path, your spirit's mission, what you actually here to do, aka creating a purpose out of your career. That way, when you doing what you do, you have a clear A to B line of sight, and it's not a situation where you get easily distracted or people can throw things in your face and all of a sudden you forgot about your mission. You know what I'm saying? The reason a lot of times people bite the bait, because what it is it's bait, right? It's to get you involved into that shit. And once you involved in that shit, it kind of fucks up your life, because it creates, like I said, it creates a situation where the thing that you once loved to do, as like just in your heart, you started to create art because you truly loved it. You started to make music because you truly loved it. You started to paint because you truly loved it. But when you start to participate in their system, it inverts it and turns it into a job, and then it becomes the very thing you hate to do, because now it's like you can't make the music you want. You got to make the music that's going to get you paid, that's going to keep you going to shows, that's going to keep you in the audience that you created, that you didn't even create for yourself. Because a lot of times artists create a fan base, but the fan base ends up hating them, because by the time they cross over, now they're making songs that the industry's saying, hey, you need to make this kind of song. You need a club banger. Hey, like, you know what I'm saying? They start to they start to impede on your art and your freedom as a spirit, your freedom as a spirit, but your creativity as well, because now you can't just create what you want to create. And that was the whole point of trying to be these artists, because in our minds, the way we see it, we think that they're creating what they want to create. And it's just trash. No, it's like they don't even want to create the thing. That's why they have ghostwriters, because these are the songs that the industry or the label needs to push out in order to keep them in business, because they're being controlled by other entities. You know what I'm saying? All this shit kind of play out together. So, you know what I'm saying? This is one of those things where, you know what I'm saying, you got to pay attention to what's really going on. So artist development, like I said before, creates an instance in which, you know what I'm saying, you have a stronger foundation, and it's more difficult to persuade you. You know what I'm saying? It becomes impossible. And once that's really tapping into spiritual strength, because down here, everything in the world is going to make you feel guilty for doing what you truly want to do. You know what I'm saying? In God's way. You know what I'm saying? In the true way that it's supposed to be done, aka your individual way as a spirit. And because, like I said, with a lot of these things being inverted just on a day, like, you know what I'm saying, just from the government perspective, whatever you want to call it, society's perspective and shit like that, a lot of these things, like, you know what I'm saying, because the rules were made to invert everything, you look like the odd one out. You look like a person who's not following suit. And when you look like you're not following suit, you don't look like the typical rapper. People dismiss you. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reason. And the people who do follow the status quo and shit like that, they are the ones who get extra funding. The ones who speak the truth about shit and what's really going on, those are the ones who's going to get put in an algorithm where their shit might not even reach the front pages of shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? But the real is always real. And if your shit is coming from an authentic and genuine place, and you truly in your spiritual power, it's inevitable for your shit to reach somebody, the right people. You feel me? And that's how you actually gain traction, true traction and influence, and you can actually go somewhere with your talent instead of, you know what I'm saying, having to be subjected to just doing whatever to get on, fake it till you make it type shit. But you lose out. It's like all of that type of shit waters down your spirit to the point where once you get everything you thought you wanted, you don't even want it no more. It wasn't even worth it. And you can't even have the same flexibility that you truly wanted to have in that position. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing. They have us chasing these positions that's part of their world. And then when we want to do what we want to do and contribute, give it back to our families, they like, hell nah. You got to make sure that you giving it to the people who own this system. Because even the labels don't own themselves. They just entities. You feel me? Entities created to uphold. Anything mainstream is just created to uphold the status quo. And this goes into all business. That's why small business kind of can teeter on the side, where it's like, if you a small business, you know what I'm saying, the reason they get neglected a lot of times is because they're not funded by these government systems. But if you are funded by this government system, then this is something you should already know. But any mainstream system or government system, government funded things, if it's funded by the government, anybody is funded. Whoever funds it controls it. That's how this world works. Like, you know what I'm saying? Who's funding it don't matter. There's no such thing as a true free donation. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to these governments and these businesses and shit like that, there's no such thing as that. That doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be realistic about shit. I'm looking at my tires and shit. I need to get some air in that shit. But, you know, this is real shit going on. So that's why artist development is important. And we're going to go a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple more things to say about this topic specifically, but we're going to go into details about, you know what I'm saying, in part 2, I think I want to talk about specifically, I don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't know yet, but I just want to go deeper in the sense of kind of talking about how we can apply it, or how we can, how we're supposed to apply it, or other ways it's important, because that's just kind of like the main way. Like, that's one of the biggest ways. But there's other reasons and why it's important just when it comes to, you know, branding, and more so like on the, more on the creative aspect. This is more like, damn, big ass motherfucker. I don't know what that was, bro, but you know what I'm saying? Just on the tip of like, this is more so protection, why it's important on the protection side. But I want to talk about why it's important on the actual offensive side. This was more defensive, as far as defending yourself from just succumbing to what's, you know what I'm saying? Understanding why, you know what I'm saying, why you would even want to participate in artist development, as far as just why you know what I'm saying, how to stay protected spiritually as you continue on with your career. Because depending on how big you get, how many hands you shake, that puts you in these scenarios, you know, because then you're gaining influence, and influence is one of the most powerful things in this world, because that's really what they're afraid of. They don't want a powerful spirit to influence people to not participate in the status quo. How the fuck dare they? You know, like that's how they look at it. How dare you? You know what I'm saying? How dare you come here and be a powerful spirit and be seen for some shit that don't reflect the world that we built? You using our shit. You know what I'm saying? They looking at, you using that, everything you use is theirs in their mind. You know what I'm saying? But we taking our power back, and we creating our own shit. Well, that's why it's important to. But, you know, still, you know what I'm saying, some people, depending on who you are, you might want to play the game. You gotta play the game how you play it. Whether that's be to rock them to sleep, or completely rebel, or you create what you want to create, you know what I'm saying, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's a different story for a different day and shit like that. But like I said, this is more so just for protection, so you know why, as far as why it's important on the defense end. The next episode gonna be why it's important on the offense end, and how you can utilize it and to your benefit, and why it's, you know what I'm saying, why it's important and how you can use it type shit. So anyway, catch you on the next one. Much love. And yeah, you know what I'm saying, I'm open for natal readings as well as business consultations and shit like that. So if you're looking to get either one, email me at esoterichustle108@gmail.com, or daybeyondtv@gmail.com, and I get right, daybeyond95@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Twitter or Instagram at daybeyondtv, and I'll get right back to you. Otherwise, much love, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.